Next up, we have Mage. Oh boy, Mage. They went with an interesting approach for Mage this expansion. This is not part of that package. This is Astromancer Solarian. 2 mana, 3/2, spell damage +1. So, pretty good, you know? This can see a lot of play in Standard. Definitely great in Arena. Death Rattle, Shuffle the Prime into your deck. What is the Mage Prime? It is a 7 mana 7/7. Spell damage +1. Battlecry, cast 5 random mage spells, but targets enemies if possible. Now that is powerful, especially with spell damage +1 built in. Like, this is a pretty much on average guaranteed board clear, and it can find lethal sometimes. This seems like a pretty solid card, you know. Apart from the no minions deck, I can see this being run in a lot of mage decks just because of the initial body, you know. 2 mana 3/2 spell damage +1 is very good in mage especially. So this is a pretty good card. I like it very much. Very strong. Oh boy. Evocation. 1 cost legendary spell for mage. Fill your hand with random mage spells. At the end of your turn, discard them. Oh boy. Okay. Now, this is a lot of value. It's uncontrollable value, but it is a lot of value. Ideally, you want to play this a bit late in the game, you know, when you're just trying to finish off your opponent or really fish for an answer. Like, this is a very good card in that stage of the game. You know, I can see this being run in a lot of decks, not just the spell only type. I can see this being run even in Highlander, because, you know, sometimes you just need one good spell and you're set for the game, and this gives you 8, 9 chances of that, sometimes even 10 if it's a top deck. So you're bound to find something useful in all those spells. So really good, flexible card. I can see this being played a lot. Even in Arena, this can be really powerful. Like, this can find Flamestrike or some sort of AoE or some sort of, you know, hit your opponent with a fireball. Pretty, I think, consistently, you know. It's a lot of slots in your hand in order to find something good. So, on average, a pretty great card. Definitely. Expect to see a lot of these in the next couple of years. Next up, we have Apexis Smuggler. 2 mana 2/3. After you play a secret, discover a spell. 2 mana 2/3. Pretty solid. Interesting card. It's obviously not going in the all spell deck, but I'm glad that they're not going all in on that. They're giving you a couple of options, like Secret Mage has some support currently, but I don't think it still has enough cards in order to be good. We'll see. Like, this can be a decent addition to the wild variant, but I mean, in Arena you're pretty happy with this card. 2 mana 2/3, solid stats, possible upside. Pretty good Arena card. It's gonna need a lot of support to see play in Standard, but you never know. Secret decks are fun. Oh boy, Apexis Blast. Deals 5 damage for 5. Pretty good. If your deck has no minions, summon a random 5-cost minion. Oh boy, remember Firelands Portal? Yep, this is pretty good. Except not in Arena. You definitely cannot pick this in Arena unless you really need to deal 5 damage. You know, you still get to deal the 5 damage even if you don't have, if you don't meet the conditional. So it may still be good enough if you're looking for that removal. So, I mean, Don't pick it if you have better option or already have a few ways to deal with, to deal damage. But otherwise, you may still just end up picking it for the 5 mana deal 5. However, in standard, this is a pretty good reason to run the no minion mage. So, pretty fun card. Hopefully it will turn out an okay deck. Oh boy. Imprisoned Observer. 3 mana 4/5. Dormant for 2 turns. Aww. When this awakens, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So, if this wasn't a mage card, I would say pretty bad, but it is a mage card. And mage is one of the few classics that doesn't really mind like starting behind on the board. Like usually you want your opponent to spend a lot of resources so you can clear them out with a big spell and then grow your advantage from that. And this guy certainly fits the bill on that part. It helps you a lot with that strategy. It's a pretty solid minion, you know. Turn 3, you usually don't do much. Like you either draw cards, ping something. In Arena, you definitely want to play a 3-drop. So in Arena, this may be a bit more tricky. You know, funnily enough, this is a better standard card than an Arena card, I think. Which is funny considering the stats, but yeah. Skipping your turn 3 may just be something you can't afford. But we'll see. In standard, I definitely see a lot of potential in this card. So, pretty good card. Pretty interesting one. I really like it. Oh boy. Next up we have Deep Freeze. 8 mana spell, freeze an enemy. Summon 2 3/6 water elementals. So, water elemental is a 4 mana minion. This is 8 mana for 2 of those. So, I mean, the math checks out, and you get the upside of freezing an enemy. So, obviously, in Arena this is pretty good, right? Water Elemental is still one of the best Mage Arena cards, I think. A lot of board control. But in Standard, I mean, for the no minion variant, I can see this being run. You know, you want as many freeze effects as you want in Mage, and this leaves you with a pretty solid board. So as long as you're not too far behind, you're going to be fine playing this card. So it definitely has potential. It's a pretty good arena card for sure, and I can see it being run in the no minion mage for sure. Font of Power. Now this is one of the biggest payoffs for now having minions in your deck. Discover a mage minion. If your deck has no minions, keep all 3. For just 1 mana, this is really good. You may even consider playing this just for the Discover a minion. You know, even in Arena, this is a pretty good card. Like, 1 mana, find a premium minion? Seems pretty good, right? You don't really need to keep all 3, because on average, at least one of them is not going to be very good. 2 of them might, but I mean, for 1 mana, you can't really go wrong with this. Still pretty solid in Arena, and very good in Standard also. If that deck turns out to be good, this is one of the main reasons to play it, and let's hope that it is, because it seems really fun. Okay, now, this is the card that's gonna make or break that deck. Extremely powerful. 2 mana spell, Incanter's Flow. Reduce the cost of spells in your deck by 1. All of them. For 2 mana. Crazy, right? Yeah. Except it doesn't have really any immediate impact, and you need to start drawing cards like crazy afterwards. But really powerful. Really powerful. Especially if you get it off early. Can really start pumping those synergies. You can even play it in with some minions, like If you play this in a deck with Sorcerer's Apprentice, oh wow, look at all that spell slinging. Really exciting. So, obviously not a good card for Arena. I mean, that's pretty apparent. However, a lot of potential for the standard deck, and that's great support for the archetype they're proposing. So, pretty exciting card. Very, very exciting. Oh wow, Mage gets a new secret. Netherwind Portal. 3 mana secret. Like usual, after your opponent casts a spell, summon a random 4-cost minion. Neat. Like, it's actually not useless. Like some of the secrets are, you know. This is actually a tempo secret. How about that? I mean, in standard, your opponent's definitely playing spells, you know, like, unless they're already winning, in which case they may elect to keep their spells and just hit your face with minions. But, I mean, if you're preventing them from playing cards, that's not bad. Especially since you're a control deck, you don't really care much about tempo. And if they do play a spell and you end up high rolling, I mean, this can be backbreaking for an aggro deck, right? It's a pretty decent card. I can see this being used in Arena. Like, it's not a priority pick, but I mean, if you have some average picks, like this may actually be the correct pick, because you know it has a high ceiling. You know, like it can be really good. It cannot be good. Like it can give you a 1/1 or something like that. Like sometimes it can be really bad, but on average, I'd say this is a pretty decent card. You know, it's not revolutionary. It's not that very, you know, exciting card, but it's a card. It's a solid one. So, more variety for Mage Secrets, which is nice. Next up, 2 mana 3/1 Star Scryer. Death Rattle, draw a spell. I mean, this is very good in Arena, right? You only have a select few spells. This ensures you get to them more often. So really powerful there. It's a great Arena card. For Standard, I'm not too sure about it. Like, it's very easy to remove. 1 health is really poor against aggro and against most hero powers. And if you build, yeah, I'm not too sure about this one actually. For Standard, like, it can be experimented with, but I think it's a bit too unreliable, because in Mage you're always gonna want a significant amount of spells, so not that good, I think. Pretty good in Arena though. And that's it for Mage. Mage, the Spellslinger class. Definitely exciting, for sure, to try the no minion variant. It's something I don't think Mage has done before, so really cool. Hopefully it's a decent enough deck, but hopefully not too oppressive. It doesn't seem to be, right? Like, Mage needed a bit more support. I feel Mage is pretty much at the bottom right now in terms of power in Standard. So, and I don't think this was enough to give them that boost they needed. But it's an interesting direction nonetheless, and Mage is always fun to play, so people will find a way, for sure.